Morning, Todd.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So list for the bill run, bill payments totaling around $500,000 with $156 in late fees. It's fairly typical. No ACHs. Wage work contributions are standard for the month. And journal vouchers, there wasn't anything other than ordinary business going on in there. Then and nows, it'd be nice to get the amount of then and nows down. Some of it at the beginning of the year like this, it's difficult because purchase orders haven't been in place yet. Water resources and JFS in particular probably lead the county in the number of then and now bills that need paid. Some of it's the nature of their business. If a pump breaks, they have to fix it regardless of whether there's a purchase order and that type of thing. But that's just the only thing.
The late fee's higher than we have seen. Is that because of the beginning of the year?
There was, part of it's still the beginning of the year. There was three big ones in particular, and by big, I think they were 30. One was $30 for the engineer, but again, his bill is very large,
Right.
And that's a beginning of the year thing. And then 2 payments for maintenance for Kent, the city of Kent. I'm not sure exactly what those bills were, but I think one of the late fees was 24 and one of them was 5. So that kind of brought the total higher, but in terms of the number of bills that were late, I believe there were only 6 on the whole list.
Okay.
I'll move the Board of Commissioners agree to approve the Thursday, February 6, 2020 bills, ACH payments as presented by the County Auditor and reviewed by the Board of Commissioners, Department of Budget and Financial Management, Department of Internal Services, or other designated.
I'll second. Roll call, Amy?
Vicki?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agrees to approve the Thursday, February 6, 2020 wire transfers for health benefits as presented by the County Auditor and reviewed by the Board of Commissioners, Department of Budget and Financial Management, Department of Internal Services, or other designate.
I'll second. Roll call, Amy?
Vicki?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agree to approve the Thursday, February 6, 2020 journal vouchers as presented by the County Auditor and reviewed by the Board of Commissioners, Department of Budget and Financial Management, Department of Internal Services, or other designate.
I'll second. Roll call, Amy?
Vicki?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agree to approve the Thursday, February 6, 2020 then and now certification as presented by the County Auditor and reviewed by the Board of Commissioners, Department of Budget and Financial Management, Department of Internal Services, or other designate.
Second. Roll call, Amy?
Vicki?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agree to amend the General Fund 2020 Annual Appropriation Resolution number 19-0947 adopted December 19th, 2019.
Is Joanne that in yet?
No.
So on this general fund, you'll notice there's $230,000 for vehicle purchases. I don't know if you followed last year, we put an order for the Ford Interceptors in like February or March, which was a little late, to be fair, but they were supposed to be delivered by August, and then Ford delayed to October, and then they delayed to November. We're just now getting those cars and getting them on the road. So these 6 are actually for the 2020 purchase. The key is there was a dealership that happened to have around 15 of them sitting on their lot. And so these Tahoes we'll be able to get in a couple weeks and get those onto the road. The sheriff agreed to go with the Tahoes. Actually, the Highway Patrol uses the Tahoes as well, so that we avoid the rigmarole with Ford again until we see if they've gotten their system, back. It was a bit of a hardship last year because our vehicles are so old. That delay,
Really?
we ended up having to fix a couple vehicles that we otherwise wouldn't have because they hadn't come in yet. But that budget amendment goes with those resolutions and necessities that Joanne will be bringing. So if you had any thoughts about passing those, then this should be held as well. But if you didn't have issues there.
And then the van.
And the van we're purchasing, the transport van, Sarchione happened to have one I don't wanna say just sitting around, but it was just sitting around. They,
Was sitting
they
around.
offered a very good price on it, below the state minimum. Joanne can speak to that, but, it was a good price, and they needed, our van was in that range where it should be
They need
replaced, and
replaced.
so we wanted to jump on that.
And we
for the
actually
price that they
purchased
got.
that one.
That one we
whereas
got
the
purchased outright, cause
Tahoes
it's coming straight from Sarchion, yeah.
Are leased, right?
Yeah, and the Tahoes we're doing, they call it the self-funded program, we're actually gonna pay the leases down, to only a few hundred left, because we have the cash balance right now. And we're gonna see how that part of the program goes. One of the advantages of the Tahoes is they have very good resale, but again, 2 to 3 years, we'll see if that made it worth it, but, right now, it looks like that may be a good idea.
And Todd, our overall experience with Enterprise and the impact it's had on the
Mhm.
budget,
Budget-wise, it's been very positive. It's the maintenance-wise, we've saved almost $200,000
Wow.
over what we spent in prior years, when you add up all the labor benefits, that type of thing. Service-wise, I haven't heard anyone complain. Sarchion in particular has done an excellent job of
Mhm.
coming to the county and
Picking up.
getting the vehicles so that county employees don't have to drive it down there. There's a couple other, Clark Ford and some of those that are working very well with departments that use them. So from a service standpoint, I don't think we've lost anything per se. From a safety standpoint, everybody still seems to be comfortable. The sheriff is pleased with how his vehicles are being maintained. And then cost-wise, we've seen the results there. It's been proven the point, so.
Good, thank you.
Mhm.
On the jail contracts? can you-
Yeah, that's just finishing out those contracts. Joanne didn't encumber all of the remodeling contract,
Mhm.
and then not the architect, but the construction manager. This finishes those amounts and gets them all encumbered. Last year, we didn't have enough to do it all, so a part of it, since it was being spent this year anyways, was held up until this year. So that's the general fund, is the jail contracts and then the cards.
Okay.
Do you need a second on that? I'll second. Roll call, Amy?
Vicky?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agree to amend the non-general fund 2020 annual appropriation resolution number 19-0948, adopted December 19, 2019.
And then this one, we got the note from the auditor that our appropriations did exceed the certifications. That was simply in response to Budget Commission having lowered cash balances. The solid waste that you saw earlier, and then this one are simply bringing those funds back into line. This particular one, the CDBG portion, which is like 156,000 of it, they actually encumbered part of that contract last year, and so that was the difference there. So it's not actually a reduction in the service from that fund, it's just last year the 156 was already encumbered, so this year they didn't need that. And then NDS sent their admin bills for the revolver funds, which come out of the prior year line, and that's getting that ready so that those invoices can be paid.
And Todd, just to reiterate our conversation this morning, we had a resolution, I think, or no, a journal entry about the commissioners and acknowledging certificate of audit that the total appropriations from each fund do exceed.
Yes.
And that's why we decreased the funds.
Correct, yeah.
And like solid waste this morning by like 58,000.
Mhm. Yes,
to
there were,
balance it. Okay.
there were, actually only two funds under the commissioner's purview, solid waste and the CDBG. The parks and, I think MRDD was also off. They're working on getting theirs in the line, but this will bring the commissioners back in. It's rare that we get the do exceed, but generally when we do, it's at the beginning of the year when the cash balances are adjusted.
Okay. I'll second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Then I believe just a journal entry for, those are at the end of the month, the commissioners now
Yeah.
approve the adjustments to the bills.
Mm-hmm.
Move that the Board of Commissioners approve the January 2020 adjustments to the Portage County Water, Portage County Sewer, and Streetsboro Sewer billing accounts as reported on the adjustment reports submitted and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Okay, I'll second.
Todd, can you explain the adjustment report just for someone who?
So basically, like your policy, for example, we're allowed to waive one late fee every 2 years as a courtesy. those would be included in here. Towards the end of the year, when we start assessing, those are actually an adjustment that goes on it. Basically, any non-payment adjustment that goes to an account, whether it be to correct because there was an error in a meter read, the waiver of the late fees, or any other type of thing, that's what goes on this report then for you to review and approve.
And those are resident late fees? and
Yeah,
that
all,
would be-
yeah, on all residential accounts, yeah.
Okay. So roll call, Amy?
Vicky?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes. Thanks, Todd.
Does Kelly need to be here?
Stu Brandon's on the way. Here's the room that goes on the back of your admin, if you're interested in passing it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Just Joanna,
Well, until they're there, you guys are
He usually takes 5 minutes, so I ask her to come up now.
Amy, did we get, Brimfield Township and the school board on our agenda yet? Or on our meeting schedule to come in and present for the CRA expansion?
No.
We need to get that on there, cause they're ready. I talked to Brad Earhart, he doesn't need to come in, cause it's just an expansion of an existing, so they need to come in and present. And they're in agreement, so that is good news.